Hey everyone, how's it going? So this is a video I promised a while ago, but comparing the Logitech or flight yoke and the Honeycomb flight yoke. And don't mind this system on top. This is actually mounted on top of the Honeycomb yoke. It's all Saitek equipment, and you don't need all of it if you are just starting, because the Honeycomb comes with some of it, and of course the Logitech has this perk too, which I'll be going over in the next few minutes. But instead of getting right to the yokes, I want to start with the mounting systems. And we'll start with the Logitech. This is how it clamps on. It's kind of big, kind of bulky, very plasticky, and where it slips on through our two gigantic holes that are on the front. And as you can see, it's not exactly the most easy to put in system in the world. Granted, it's one solid unit, and it comes with that in a fuss usually. However, the Honeycomb are mounts a little bit differently. First are the clamps. There's two of them, but they're fairly small, but they are very well built. These are pretty heavy steel, and when they clamp down, they clamp down. And they clamp down through this faceplate. Now, a lot of people are using this. This is like if you have a smooth desk and you got nothing on top of it, or using like a glass desk and you want something that is solid to it without having to clamp it down, then this micro suction is definitely what you're going to use. But it's also very difficult to pull off. That's why I haven't taken off the plastic cover here, because I don't have that kind of desk. So for me, leaving it on there allows me to remove it no problem, and it stays very secure to my desk because of the clamps. And as you can see, or the yoke itself, or slides on here, and clamps up like that, or there'll be screws on the back that come down onto these two pegs, and that is what secures it. And believe me, this does not move. So, and again, it boils down to what kind of space you want, what you're looking for in the mounting. Now, when it comes to mounting, there's a lot more out right now for this, or the Logitech yoke. And the shape of it is kind of hexagonal, and that is fairly small, but it's very light in feel. So there's not really a whole bunch of weight to it. So even when it's clamped down, it could still, or say this is your desk, it could still do this and pull up on the back. So this one, it is not going to do that. It is solidly mounted. It's heavy. It's not going to. That's why I'm not picking it up too much, because it weighs about 15 pounds by itself. So this tops weighs about 5 pounds, not very heavy. So now to the yokes themselves. Well, I want to do a side-by-side comparison on some of the main features. Now, granted, you can't see the light on this because I don't have it hooked up, but there's actually a backlight, which is kind of okay. Doesn't really impact your use of it. But some of the features that this one has, the Logitech doesn't have, and some the Logitech has, this one doesn't have. So it boils down to personal preference. The first, or the most obvious, there is a front panel with some functions on the front. So it'll display your time, chronometer, that kind of thing. And I can tell you from use that, yeah, it's cool the first couple of times, but really after probably about the first, I'd say 2 or 3 times using it, it's not really a useful feature. It's neat, but it's not really functional. Though some big airliners use their own version of it, but for your average flight simmer, nah, use the chronometer on your phone. Probably gonna work a whole lot better, or use the one in the sim. So not a big deal. But for hat switches, let's see if I can change this perspective a little bit. Aside from the front panel, a lot of the buttons are comparable. We're hat switches on both. Now this one has a dual elevator trim. It's got 2 separate buttons on it, where this only has the one. This one is more close to a real airplane, from what I understand. I haven't been directly in the cockpit yet, but that's something I'm working on, which is why I'm working with this yoke, because it's closer to realism by real pilot accounts. I'm just a game enthusiast at this point. And right side, similar, or to a similar switches, or big rev, which could be programmed to anything you want it to. Generally, or it could be considered autopilot disconnect, auto throttle disconnect, whatever function you want it to be in the sim. And there's also a button on a switch on the back to indicate different modes. On the Logitech, the Honeycomb does not have that, but there is the button on the back here and on the left here that this one doesn't have. Even though it does have the button on the back, it doesn't have the one up top, which could also be used for autopilot disconnect and push to talk for your microphone, like if you're doing bat sound. But now we're going to get to a more side-by-side comparison. Oh, almost forgotten. On the back, this one has a port for your throttle controls, which this does not come with. I will not be showing that in this video, but let's look up the Logitech throttle quadrant, and that's what it looks like. It just has a PS2 connector with the one that comes with it. And it has 3 USB ports for devices like that, which is your extras. Now, getting back from that, or the range of travel. Now, I haven't set up side by side like this for a reason, so you can see the clear differences between the two. And these I have not modified. I don't do that kind of work, even though I'm a technology professional. But as you can see, the Logitech here in this case only goes to about 45 degrees in either direction. The Honeycomb, full 90 degrees. Now, there will be plenty of people who argue that not every airplane goes to a full 90 degree. That's a reasonable argument, but in terms of technology and what it's showing on screen versus what you're actually getting, when you push it to 45 degrees this way with this yoke, it's going to be full 90 degrees in the sim, or whatever the limit of your aircraft is within the simulator. So it's not very realistic, because when you do this, it's the equivalent of doing, or that as an example. So you can see clear differences between how the two operate. Range of travel on them is, there is a huge D10, I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear it hitting and clicking. I'm not sure how good that's going to be on the video, but it's a massive problem on that yoke. And there's a huge dead zone on here, which many people have covered. I'm not going to retread that ground. This one has a little bit of a dead zone, but obviously the range of motion is much better. Travel is a lot smoother. There is a little bit of a detent, a tiny one, but it is barely noticeable. So it's a far superior product. It's far better built. And it still works with the Logitech panels, which is my next point. This one comes with the throttle quadrant, like I said. I'm not going to recover that one, but this one, you can see here, has a whole bunch of switches built in. And this is all, and also has our starter switch built in here on the right. So, and that is a big difference between them, because this one that comes standard with, and those are a little bit more realistic to your general aircraft, whereas these, they were built around this yoke, which didn't have it. And granted, these are really good for what they do. And if you want realism, then you want to invest in some of these, but you don't necessarily need the switch panel. And where Honeycomb is coming out with a throttle quadrant of their own that is highly customizable and features a lot of this stuff for $250. If you want to get all of these, they're going to cost you about $150 a pop. So I had these well before Honeycomb was a thought. So this came out before. This is a newer product. It's superior, and if you're just getting started, invest the extra 70, 80 bucks. Because this is going to cost you about 150, 170. This is going to be about 250. Depending on where you get it, you could add taxes and shipping to it. I got mine from Amazon, or Amazon Prime. Love it, $250, no shipping, or shipped right to me exactly when they said they would. So, or you get the switch panel here. It's got your alternator, your battery, your avionics bus, your various lights, starter switch, which is all on the Saitek panel. But that's a separate $150. So you'd be $170 for that and $150 for that. So that'd be around $230, or for essentially two things, or versus, well, actually my math is off on that. That'd be closer to 300 something for what you get for 250 just in one unit. Plus this one is far superior. There is no autopilot or radio panel built into the Honeycomb stuff yet, but that is coming with the Bravo throttle quadrant, and that's coming out early next year. But comparison-wise, if price is a huge issue and you really need to get something better than your mouse and keyboard, then the Logitech was probably going to be your better bet, because it is substantially cheaper, but you have to understand you're not getting great quality with it. Versus the Honeycomb, yes, it's $100 something dollars more, but you're getting far better quality and it's going to be far more realistic for what you need. And that's my review. If I was just starting out and I had a choice between the two, or at the time, this was the only option for me. That's all there was, or reasonably or priced and offered some quality. And CH stuff and all that it's good for its price point, but wasn't what I was looking for. The Saitek at the time was. Honeycomb was not out at that point. If this had been out at the time I was looking to beat, or this one, I would have bought this one straight up and just waited for the Bravo Throttle Quadrant. Because this is a far better yoke. So this has a better price. It's a better value for your money. So my recommendation: get the Honeycomb yoke if you're just starting out, or if you desperately need an upgrade. If you need a price balanced with budget, this is your better bet. So, but if you just have to straight on budget and you can't afford to spend a lot, then the Saitek one will get you there. It'll work, but it's not going to give you a great experience. This one will. And with that, I'm signing off. And if you guys got any questions about the yoke, so let me know and I'll answer them as best I can. Remember, I'm not a pilot, though I'm studying to be a pilot and I passed ground school. And I'm using a simulator to train for aerial maneuvers, but I'm not an expert pilot. I'm more of an expert gamer. So if you want a review on that from that perspective, still go to the Honeycomb. Much better experience. If you have any questions, let me know.